I want to talk to you today about receiving answers directly from within yourself. That is, asking a question of something, about something you want to know, and then staying with that question until an answer is given to you directly from within, through your dreams or through visions, through art, through poetry, and through direct insights, through intuition. I remember I was writing my first book, and I was sort of struggling to find a title, and when the head gets in the way, there's all sorts of ideas and everything that I just felt inappropriate. So I did like I always do, and simply just said, well, I'm gonna just stay with the question. I'm gonna not forget it, but I'm going to just keep it in the back of my mind and see what happens. And so one day there I was having it in the back of my mind. I think I was actually in the car driving somewhere when suddenly you just hit this space where how can I describe that to you? When there's calm, you're no longer arguing or discussing anything in your head, and it's quiet. I was just, I think, sitting in the traffic, and bang, there it was. The title, Mystic Soul, which is just the simplest thing ever, because that's what I really talk about, is mysticism. I'll give you another example, is with the success of that first book title led me to do exactly the same thing with the new book, where we dreamed a single dream. And again, I wrote a few ideas and so on, but this time I stayed with it, and this time I got an answer in a dream, directly in a dream. And that's what the title is now, where we dream the single dream. What I'm trying to tell you is that if you do stay with the question, and you can be patient, because these days everyone wants to have the answer yesterday or right away, but you've got to stay with it and be patient until the answer comes directly from you, directly through you, if you like. And you don't run around looking for the solution, asking your neighbor, your family, you're Googling it, or you're reading it in a book. You have to have the patience and stay with the question until it comes, and it always comes. You have it in the back of your mind, and then bang, suddenly there it is. I remember another example, I can give you another example, is I was having staying with the question, I was having a health issue, and I thought, well, I'll give it a go and see how it works with the health issues as well. And so I stayed with the question, and this time, I think the same night, I was given a solution to what was bothering me, and I implemented that solution the next day, and the symptoms went away. Now, how this really works is the way I understand is that you are actually going beyond yourself. You're going out of the way. Your ego goes out of the way. Your mind, the masculine mind, gets out of the way, and then the feminine takes over, and you get plugged into that deeper dimension of within which we are always together, or we are within it. In the old days we called it the goddess, or the Akashic fields, or even the collective unconscious, but nowadays we call it just the consciousness or soul, or quantum field. And in there, the knowledge to everything that we have, to everything that was, that is, or will be, inventions that haven't been invented yet because people haven't asked the questions. The solutions to all that are already there. So if you can plug yourself into this field, this dimension of the knowledge of everything, your insights, your solutions will come. There's a wonderful story of a German chemist who invented benzene, petrol, and his name was Kekule, and he had the answer. He stayed with the question. He's a chemist, so he was looking for a solution to benzene, to the molecular solution, molecular formula of benzene, and he couldn't find it, but he stayed with it. He never gave up. That's the real solution to this. You need to be patient and stay with it. What helped, for instance, Kekule, is because the solution wasn't there already, in the culture. No one's ever invented it. He was the first one to bring it into our consciousness. And the way it happened to him, for instance, was he saw it in a dream. And what he saw in a dream was molecules dancing in a circle like an Ouroboros. And he woke up in the morning and he wrote it all down, and then the first thing, he went back to his laboratory, he put the formula in a circular fashion. That's what we've got, the chemical formula of benzene, and bingo, it worked. And to this day we still have benzene, petrol, to run our cars. Another wonderful example of this plugging in, staying with the question, and this plugging in of the collective unconscious is the story of Nikola Tesla. I'm sure that many of you are familiar with Tesla, who often is credited with the invention of the 20th century. And you see the key word here is invention, because everything you invent comes directly from you. It's something new that has never been before. So that's it's a solution but the solution to a question that you've had and it hasn't been before, and that solution usually comes intuitively or through a dream. And the story of Tesla there are many stories about Tesla, but this one that I remember best is when he was in the middle of inventing the electric motor. The electric motor, right? And he couldn't find a solution how it is all going to fit together, how it's all going to work and create electricity. So there he was, walking his usual, taking his usual walk in the afternoon in his park, in his favorite park, and suddenly the words of Goethe's poem came to him. I can't remember the exact words, but let me just have a look. I think I've got it here somewhere, because I wrote a paper on this before, and I'll read that for you. Yes, there it is. One afternoon which is ever present in my reflection. This is Tesla talking. The sun was just setting and reminded me of Goethe's glorious passage. The glow retreats. Done is the day of toil. Upon its track to follows soaring. And in that instant, the glow of day, the sun retreating, the ego went out of the way, and in that instant moment, he saw the solution to the electric motor. That it was again a circle. Like Kekule's vision, it was in a circle, it was round, and there was a magnetic field, and it had to rotate, and when it rotated, it created electricity. And we have the electric motor to this day. It's exactly the same solution, this beautiful solution that he envisioned. It just came to him spontaneously. There's another, I can rattle off all these stories to you for a long time. There's a lot of stories like this. There's another one I'll read because it's in my same paper. It's a story of where should we have a look? Morris Wilks. Morris Wilks invented the four-wheel drive system for Land Rover. And the story, the way I write about it, the story how it happened is he was walking on a beach in Wales. He stopped and drew the idea in the sand, and from that moment on we've got. So it happened to him again, spontaneously, completely spontaneously, but he stayed with the question. He wanted to solve the problem, and then suddenly, out of the blue, He got plugged into this deeper dimension of the collective unconscious. He plugged into the soul, to the consciousness, or to the quantum field, whatever you want to call it, the place where all the solutions are to be found. He plugged into that, and in that moment of revelation, he saw the solution, how everything plugs together. He drew it on the sand, and to this day we've still use the same four-wheel drive system. So what I'm trying to say to you is, if you want to experience this mystery, this mysticism that I continually write about on Facebook and Twitter and on social media and so on, the things that I talk about through YouTube, is if you want to experience this yourself, because hearing it from someone, it's not going to be ever the same as experiencing it for yourself. Because when you experience it, you go, oh my gosh, something actually touched me. That you've cracked the wall, you've peeked through a fissure into the other dimension, and something from that dimension came through to you, just to you, nobody else. An answer, an insight, some kind of vision. And that is mysticism, that is direct experiencing of the mystery of life and the solutions to it. And this is this direct experiencing, the staying with the questions until the answer is given to you directly through you, is what we call feminine, divine feminine. Because the masculine mind is what we call the intellect, the rational intellect, which is the first to reject the feminine, the irrational, that there is nothing but the intellect. Science, this is the deductive science, and our religions and our institutions largely will reject all that. But the mysticism, the divine feminine, the direct experience of the wonder of life, of even having your medical solutions shown to you in your dreams, like with me, or solving or inventing benzene, or inventing four-wheel drive electric motor, like I said. All this is direct experiences. All this is direct vision, direct touch, being touched by the divine, and the divine gives you the answer. And this is what I mean by staying with the question until an answer is given to you. But you've got to be patient. In our society, in our culture, where the answers, when you want answers yesterday, it's so easy to just go on Google or go and ask someone or read it in a book, and you don't go any further. That is to say, the solution to you, the solution that you could have got from there, from that deeper dimension, from the consciousness, from the soul, could have been a completely different, something new, no one has ever seen before. But because you're reading it, or you're looking for it in the news or in the local newspaper, the solution doesn't go any further than that. So the way to use this is really, really simple. You just have a question, anything. If you're going to be asking personal things like, will I get married, or how many kids will I have, or what will I have for lunch? That's what the answers that you're going to get. And it's easy to read the answers because they're usually in the language of our everyday life. Now, if you're going to ask deeper, much deeper questions, such as, you want to know about the nature of soul, you want to know what the tree means, or the tree of life means, what water means, what's intuition, then you're going to get answers in pictorial form, in mythological form. For that, you will need to learn the language of the soul. So there are two levels of questions. The levels where these gentlemen, for instance, were asking, what is benzene like? What is four-wheel drive system like? Or what electrical motor? And you're going to get answers which are more or less everyday things you can understand. Even though, with Tesla, the vision that he got was really dancing, or should I say with Kekule, or the benzene, what he saw was a dancing molecules around a circle. So the circle is an image of the center, is the image of the eternal. That's the most inward center, or your Eden, or heaven, or paradise, where the tree grows, and so on. So although the answer was both mythological and everyday, the answer, the solution to what he was looking for is just simply taken as an everyday circle, and then the things were dancing in a circle, and you put that into a chemical formula, and there it was. So that's really what I wanted to speak to you today about. The really elegant, there can be really elegant solutions to your questions, but you have to have the patience and the belief that you will get an answer directly from yourself. So stay with whatever question you have. Look for an answer in your dreams and visions and your intuitive insights in poetry, in art, if you're creatively inclined. And there, it will be there. Sometimes it's very, very easy to see, easy to understand. Sometimes it might not be. You can always ask for clarifications and so on. It really depends on the depth of your question as well. So until next time, thank you.